Good afternoon. In this video, we're going to go over this week's options watch list. Before I get into the video, if you're not in the room, you can find the link in the description of the video and in my bio section of social media account. Also, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Now, as of right now, I'm looking at the put to call ratio. The put to call ratio is pretty low. It's 0.52. When there is more open interest on one side, you end up seeing the opposite effect. So a lot of people are in calls, not many are in puts. So market makers see this, and that's when you end up seeing this random dump out of nowhere, or this headline that just magically appears and just ends up taking out all the calls. It's just the name of the game. The market makers like to make their money off from stealing from retail. So that's why you got to refer to the put to call ratio. I think it's a very important tool to know and how to use. No, nothing is ever 100%, so don't be jumping in puts and thinking that we're going to get a dump tomorrow, because it may not be tomorrow. It could be next week, because next week is FOMC, but they put the call ratio can go a lot lower than what it is. I mean, it can get down to, right now it's at 0.52, it can get down to 0.45 or lower, so we can still squeeze. It's no sure method into the put to call ratio, but yeah, when you see too many people on the put side, that's when they squeeze them out, and that's when you see too many people on the call side, you see a random dump to flush out everybody. So that's just the way the market makers play the game. You got to understand that, because that's all it is. It's a game, and we're just we're in it, so we gotta just use any advantage we can to navigate the game. So with that said, yeah, the put to call ratio, definitely we could see a rug pull at some point in time. I have to mention the economic calendar for the week. Monday, don't see too much. We have CPI, core CPI Tuesday morning. Wednesday morning, don't see. We have PPI and core PPI on Wednesday morning at 8:30. Thursday, we have a little more going on. Core retail, Empire State Manufacturing, retail sales, unemployment claims, Fed index. Friday, get the preliminary UOM, consumer sentiment and inflation expectations on Friday morning. So we've got some news coming that could definitely affect the market. So I'll have to watch for that. Now, the watch list, I got a few things I'm looking at. I know I got Amazon up, but I'll I'm gonna skip that for now. I'm gonna go to SPY. Now, SPY, it's kind of like stalled out right around the 408 level, but we definitely got room to run the 410, 415, even 420 area. So didn't quite get the gap fill right here. On the hourly, as you can see, right above 420 to 421.50, there's a gap. I could probably end up filling that. I got a trend line right here at the 425, so definitely could possibly see SPY getting up to the 420, 425 area. I mean, just because the put to call ratio is low doesn't mean that we have to dump right now. We could end up keep going, but I would also watch underneath 405 for a gap fill down to the 401, 400 area. And I know RC trend line right down here, it touched it. This thing is like a huge magnet. It went down, touched it, bounced right off it, and now you can look at the weekly. The weekly is up to what, the 463. I don't imagine we can gonna go touch it, but who knows? I mean, you can never count SPY out for how ridiculous it wants to be. So have to see what it wants to do. Now, I know the RSI is very, very high on the hourly, but it doesn't mean anything, because it was high over here and it still grinded up another 10 points. So yeah, this could definitely end up going to 420 regardless of what the RSI does. So definitely keep an eye on that. We'll be watching both sides on SPY, puts and calls. And like I said, the 408 and the 405 are the two big numbers. Now, hopefully SPY does not have a ridiculous gap up or gap down, because I really hate those. It makes it tricky at open which way it's going to go, because it just you have massive gap ups. People go for a gap and go, and then it flushes, or you have the massive gap downs and people buy puts thinking it's going to dump more, and then it pops. So that's just the way the market is. So now I have a couple other interesting stocks here worth looking at. Shop is one, and of course Toss is lagging. Toss has been lagging all day for me. And what's interesting is the weekly. I mean, it gets over this 39 area, it could definitely end up taking a pop. So but I would watch it more or less over Friday's high with 35, or push it 36, 38, even 40, 42. But the key area is this 39, 39.50, 39 area. When it gets over that, we definitely could see a push to 45 on Shop. So definitely keep an eye on that. Costco. Costco's starting to shape up here pretty well too. So look at the weekly. The weekly's starting to look pretty good. Kind of got a cup and handle thing going on right here. Also could see head and shoulders. Left shoulder, head, and right shoulder. I mean, definitely could end up seeing that scenario too, but I'm more or less looking at this, the cup and the handle. If it gets over the 460 area, we definitely could see a strong push out of Costco. And Costco's got earnings up next week, I think around the 22nd, if I remember seeing that correctly. Let's see. Yeah, the 22nd, which is next Thursday. So yeah, we could end up seeing a strong move on a Costco. So I'd watch over Friday's high of 539, over 540. It gets over 540, 545, 550. Every $5 has pretty much been resistance for Costco. So, but it gets over 560, we could definitely see a strong move to 580, even to 600. So definitely keep an eye on Costco. Target is another one. Why did it do that? For some reason Target didn't post. Let's see. Target over 175. Kind of got a cup and handle. Well, inverted head and shoulders. You got the left, the head, and the right shoulder. And you can see kind of a slanted little neckline right here, and the neckline probably being right around the 178 area. Gets over that 180 gap resistance. We kind of over gap resistance right now, because gap resistance is right around that 168 level. We're already above that. So it does manage to get over the 178, 180. You could end up taking a really, really big move up. So we definitely have to keep an eye on Costco. We got a gap right here to fill right around the 180 level, 182, 185. So Costco, Target definitely could see a strong move. Look at the weekly. The weekly, I definitely like the weekly. Cup handle. I think we could definitely get a strong move. The weekly is starting to look really good on the on Target now. NVIDIA is another one. Now NVIDIA, and it's consolidating right in this 144 area. So I'm just thinking if it can get over this 145, we could end up seeing a gap fill into 150, 155, and 160. We maybe push to 170. We'll have to see, but it hasn't really moved much over here on the last 2 days. So I'm thinking that maybe we might get a push and fill that gap. NVIDIA doesn't move nearly as much now that it's had the split. So, but definitely keep an eye on it. We're definitely going to see that 150 gap fill eventually. Just I don't know if it'll be this week though. Tesla is another one. Tesla. I mean, Tesla, every time you think it's down and out, it just ends up bouncing back and started to drift from the split, and it's starting to have a nice little rebound. If it gets over this, well, it's right at struggling with the 300 level, but it does get over 300, 305, 310, 315. Gets over that 315, we could really end up seeing another decent size pop, 320, even 340. Big cup and handle right here, cup handle right here. So 310 level being the neckline for that. So we'll have to see if that happens. Weekly starting to look pretty good too on Tesla. So we'll have to see. Tesla, just every time you think that it's done, more competition, that it can't go any higher, this thing just keeps going. It's just a very cult looking stock. So Amazon, now this is what I had up when I first started the video. I was looking at that. It did fill the gap. Did it? It came pretty close. Maybe it didn't quite fill it completely. SLO 123.66. Oh, I didn't quite fill it. 120. What was that again? 123.66. 120. Yeah, I didn't quite fill it. It was off like 75 cents or something, but you never know. It could come back and fill. But I'm looking at it over Friday's high, over 134. If I push 135, 137.50, 140, 142.50, 145. Definitely another huge cup and handle. Get the huge cup, another handle right here. Gets over this 144 area that we could definitely see it push to 150, 160. Have to see if that's what happens with Amazon. So a lot of cup and handle plays on charts this week. We'll have to see if they play out and see what happens. But take it day by day. Hopefully we won't have any massive gap ups or gap downs. That will definitely change the dynamics of the play. So that's going to do it for the watch list. And thanks for watching. Hope to see you in the room.